Welcome to Making Music. This show is sponsored by Guitar Showcase in San Jose, California. My name is Dan Aronie, and I will be your host for the next 2 weeks as we showcase two fine Bay Area bands. This week we have Horizon of Fire, and next week we have Cocktail Monkeys. That's with my friend Bobby AC on bass, and the rest of the band. They'll be playing, and I will be talking with them about the band and what's coming up and some of the events they just finished playing. But I want to introduce Alan Josephson. Thanks for coming on the show today. And can you introduce the band to us?
Sure. So over here we have Steve Morgan on vocals, a recent addition to our band. We have Jimmy Santoliva on guitar. We have Ron Adamson on bass. And pounding away on the drums over here we have Bobby Ray.
Now that song you just played for us, what was that song from?
That song is one of our originals called Chiromania. Mm-hmm. So you can sort of see from the Egyptian theme there, Chiromania.
Now I noticed that you guys have a lot of Satriani and Vai stuff that kind of you attribute a lot of your tunes to.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So originally I was very influenced by guys like Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen. Early on, Edward Van Halen and Jimmy Page as well. So a lot more of the more contemporary shred guitar players have really been a very large influence on my playing personally. So a lot of that's been carried over into our original compositions.
And you are ripping on the guitar.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We'll get to see a little bit of that
Sure.
more in the show.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about the band. How long have you guys been together?
We got together right around 2001, so we've been together now for about 6 years. Originally, I had put together a demo about 14, 15 of my own, original guitar-oriented instrumental songs that had just me on guitar and bass and drums and everything. And then I started searching out for a group of musicians to kind of back me up on that material. So early on, I hooked up with Ron and Jimmy, and then we found Bobby here, and we've been primarily playing as a 4-piece instrumental band up until very recently when we brought Steve here on board about 4 or 5 months ago, right?
Yeah. Now, what prompted you to do that, to bring a vocalist on all of a sudden with more of an instrumentalist type band?
Just kind of change the musical style a little bit, also in order to sort of make it a little more appealing to the general public, in addition to the guitar enthusiasts out there who want to hear fast guitar playing and that kind of thing. So.
Right. And how's it been going so far with that?
Really good, good. Yeah, it's great guys, great music.
Now, who have you been playing before?
I'm a guitar player.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
So how did you start with the vocals?
It just happened.
Yeah.
Everything's just coming together really nicely. Met the guys singing, and that's the way.
And so you guys are now, where are you guys all from?
So actually, 4 of us are actually residents of Campbell, California, just right down the road here.
You are local.
Very local, and Steve right here is from San Jose. Mm-hmm. So we're all South Bay guys.
South Bay guys, yeah. So tell me now. You started the band about 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. What's been going on? I mean, tell us some of the gigs, and we'll go into the other one. You guys just played with Quiet Riot,
right?
At the Soundtrack. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
because that must have been a great gig. How did that come about?
Well, Bobby.
Yeah, why don't you tell us?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I ran into an old friend of mine, Mike Bruns, and he used to be a manager in an old band of mine. And just by chance, we crossed our paths, and he had mentioned that he's doing the sound at the Saddle Rack, and they're going to be doing rock and roll shows. So he started naming off a few different acts, and Quiet Riot came up, and I said, "Oh, I really like those guys." And he says, "Hey, you want to play?" And we said, absolutely. Yeah. So we were fortunate enough to be on that show, and it was a good time, really good time.
Now I know we have some pictures of that that we'll see. We'll bring them up on the screen and tell us a little bit about this show that went down.
Sure.
Here's it now. This is the band logo, obviously.
Yeah.
Now tell us.
Well, yeah, it was one of the really cool things about that show was we went out there, and there's a large group of people there who came out there to see Quiet Riot, and typically, whenever a major band is playing a venue like that, and they have opening groups, usually the crowd isn't too much into the opening groups,
right.
And they're just kind of killing time until the feature act comes on. But we came out there, and right after our first song, people were on their feet cheering, which is really
which is awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great. It's fabulous.
And this is you guys playing during the gig.
Yeah. So.
Some good shots.
Yeah, that's from that right there was a photo from a number of years back. So.
A long time ago. As you can tell.
Well, tell us a little bit more about, I know we've just talked about influences. What I would really like to hear is, you do a little solo thing for us.
Okay, sure.
And kind of showcase some of the speed, and afterwards we'll just tell us a little bit about it. I want to hear about lessons first.
Oh, sure.
Did you start taking lessons, or was this self-taught?
Well, actually, I started playing guitar back when I was 7 years old. Originally I started piano lessons, and then I started taking drum lessons. And my sister had an old classical guitar, an old Yamaha classical guitar sitting in her closet. So I started doodling around on that, and one day I came to my dad and I said, Dad, I really want to play electric guitar. And he said, well, fine. Yeah, he took me down to the music store. He bought me this book called Mel Bay's Book of Guitar Method. In fact, I still have it storage somewhere.
And we still carry it.
Oh, you do? Okay, great. Well, everything from this is how to hold the pick, and this is an E chord.
Right.
And he said, okay, if you learn every single thing in this book, I'll buy you an electric guitar. And so I basically kind of locked myself in my room for 2 weeks and just got everything nailed. I spent all my spare time learning this. I came to him and I said, okay, Dad, I learned everything in the book.
Well, where did you go from there, getting to the speed?
The
speed influence, like the Satriani or the Vai, which is just amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you. Basically, it really comes down to a lot of practice. And really kind of working with a metronome. To make sure that you have the right articulation in your alternate picking, and get it down absolutely perfectly slowly first, and then start gradually increasing the speed with the metronome as you go. So that way you can sort of keep track of your progress. I was able to play this one run here at 72 on my metronome, and then 2 weeks ago, now I can play it at 126.
Wow.
So,
well, let's see. Let's hear. Show us a little something. I want to hear the band play.
Okay,
so
great,
why don't you guys do something for us?
Okay,
I'm going to get out of your way.
Okay, great.
Baby. We go.
She never made a sound before I hit the ground. Feel the pain from the bat she gave me. One more day, I can get away. I know she'll always be taking the grass to me, waiting around for a chance to kill me. One more day, I can get away. One more day, I can get away. One more day, I can get away.
Here, take these chairs back.
Pushing me over. Still, brother. It's like, fuck, every time we get my stance.
Welcome back to Making Music. My name's Dan Aronie. I'm your host this week. We're with Horizon Fire and with Alan Josephson and the rest of the band. And let's talk a little bit about the Bay Area music scene. And I know it's changed, not for the better over the last 20 years, but I want to hear a little input from you as well. And what's your take? I mean, you're right in the middle of it. So,
Well, Showcase hasn't changed a bit.
yeah, I know. We're still
So
here.
that's the good thing.
That's the good news, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 15, 20, 25 years ago, there used to be quite a few great venues around here in the area, Cabaret and Stone and the Keystone Palo Alto and lots of
Bodega
others.
down here.
Right, sure.
Campbell is, I mean, we were talking about that earlier and just how many great venues there were and how a lot of the stuff has gone by the wayside. What do you, why? Any ideas?
It's that almighty dollar.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. You can play the kazoo, and if you pack the place, that's what it's going to be about.
Right.
And we're really losing out. I remember the day, you had such a variety of shows to go to, not only, national acts coming down playing the clubs, but all your local guys, really trying hard and trying to establish themselves. And now it's really tough. Where you're going to go, and if you don't bring a couple thousand people, the owners don't want to talk to you.
And I was talking even just as simple as going to like high school things. My kids go to dances,
Right.
and everything nowadays is DJ with hip hop.
Right.
Virtually, and it's when they try to do some of the old traditional rock and roll, all the kids leave.
Right.
And so now the young influences are tending toward that, for the rap and the hip hop and is that leaving us out in the cold? Is it just harder and harder to find those venues?
Yeah. I mean, there certainly are some venues like that around here, like the Quarter Note down in Sunnyvale. Always features local bands, live music, rock and roll. Aptos Club. A few others
Catalyst
too.
is still doing it, and there's a couple places in Santa Cruz. The Avalon, What are some? How about San Francisco? I'm not familiar with the music scene.
A few clubs up there. We played the El Rio there about a year or two ago.
Right.
So yeah.
So there's still a couple, but just not as much as there used to be.
Right,
They were bigger and badder. And,
right.
Well, let's talk a little bit. I always like talking about this because this is kind of my favorite section about gear. And I realize that you two guys are playing Ibanez guitars, and I know you have these great endorsees, and Ibanez is going to love me saying this. They got Steve Vai playing Ibanez and Joe Satriani, and they're phenomenal guitar players. Why Ibanez for you?
I just sort of settled in on this guitar about 7 or 8 years ago, right when they first came out.
And this is actually called the JS100 Joe Satriani.
Right.
And if we can come in on this, you can see his little...
It's got his name right here. It doesn't have my name. It has his name. And really overall a great guitar. It's lightweight. It has a nice kind of small body size to it. Really nice contours on it. The Floyd Rose, the low pro tremolo.
And they stay in tune.
Low
take this
TRS
down the
tremolo.
note, and you can take this down to 0. back and it's in tune stuff.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
unbelievable.
a long time ago, I used to play like Fender Strats, and every single time you try using the tremolo bar, it just kind of came back out of tune, and as soon as these Floyd Rose tremolos come out,
they work. I know.
Yeah,
it's
the
funny.
DiMarzio
At home,
pickups.
I have this really expensive Stratocaster. My kids play guitar. And what does he want for a present? He wants an Ibanez. And he ends up playing that all the time in this $1,500 Stratocaster sitting on the wall and collected dust. I don't mean any harm, but
Right.
They are very fast necks, and they're awesome. Now I see you're going through Mesa Boogie.
Yeah,
as far as your amplification.
Our whole band is pretty well exclusively Mesa. Right here, a really nice Mesa.
The 412 cab, yeah.
And in terms of my amplification, I'm using the Mesa Stereo Simul Class 290. It's basically a tube-powered stereo power amplifier. And I'm running a Digitech GNX4.
So this is your preamp system,
Yeah.
and I know we can't get the camera at this angle, but it's a great preamp system with all the effects built in as well.
Right,
How
yes.
about Jimmy? And Jimmy has again, he has the Satriani, and he's using.
I also play like Mesa, Triaxis and E95.
Yeah, which is cool. So.
And Ron back there also has the simul state power.
And you're using the. And I'll tell you, the Ampeg SVT cab is probably one of the classic cabs of all time. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can't beat this.
Really fun.
I know. It just carried it around. I mean, these cabinets have to weigh close to 100 pounds, or if not a little bit more. But it's still for tone. And I remember the first time I ever heard one, and they had an SVT top on it, and literally. The ceiling was breaking up and coming down after playing that. So, well, I know we're starting to wind down on the show right now, and I want to go out with a tune with you guys.
Sure, okay.
I want to thank you all for joining us today, and I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and you're going to go out with a tune, and what's it going to be?
Actually, the name of the song is Horizon of Fire.
Oh, great.
So,
okay.
Right.
Well, thank you again for joining
so
us, Alan, and the rest of the guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Okay.